Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, Sir Entrepreneur. Welcome to IFYL, Inspirations for Your Life. If you are new here and you're watching us, you'll see a QR code at the top of your screen. Simply launch your camera app on your smartphone, point over the QR code, touch the yellow lips. But if you're not watching us and you're listening to us on the podcast, then go to believemeachieve.com. You'll get to my link tree with lots of great quality information to improve your life. All right, let's get into our master topic. But before I do, I want to thank you for popping in, for visiting us, for viewing us, and watching us, whatever time that is. 1 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 6 a.m., 6 p.m., 10 a.m., 10 p.m., 12 noon, 12 midnight, or whenever you choose to watch us. Thank you so much for making the choice to have Inspirations for Your Life a daily part of your mental diet. All right, let's get right in, everyone. You ready? Here we go. Understanding why some people want to still work remotely. Series 2, which means we're in year 2. Show 21, episode number 6. All right, so let's talk about this, shall we? So how do you prioritize your day? This is a question that a lot of people have asked me. And you might say, well, how do you do it? Because it seems confusing, John, what you do to prioritize your day. Well, it's not confusing, but you have to give everything, I would say, a scale or a weight. And so what might happen to you is you might say, oh, gee, this is more important because I want to do it. But you have to weigh priority on a lot of things. That can be, doing the right thing. That could mean impression, image, right? For example, if you're in work and you're at your homework or you're in the office working, prioritize what's important. So getting there before time, making sure you're ready to go with your cup of coffee or your tea, checking your emails, getting through everything before you even start your day so that you're ready at 8 or 9 and you've already got your emails addressed. See, that's being on top of the world. You heard me. I said being on top of the world. When you're on top of the world, it's like you feel like you can do anything. Right? You do. But for whatever reason, you're saying to yourself, well, I don't know how to do this, or I don't know what I should be doing next. And it comes down to the fact that you get overwhelmed, right? Does that ever happen to any of you? You get overwhelmed and you don't necessarily know what you should be doing. You don't know what you should be doing. So, what does that mean to you? I think it means that when the schedule gets out of whack, that's when there is a serious problem. Okay. When it gets out of whack, that's when, we have a serious problem. And so I will tell you that it can be daunting for you. I know that it can be very daunting. And so you might be asking yourself, John, I still don't get it. How do I prioritize? And again, it's not hard, right? One of the easiest things to do when you want to prioritize is to figure out your short term goals and your long term goals. Okay. Put them into 2 lists. Write down everything you need to do or type it out. That's fine. Categorize things that you need to do and give them a priority in your mind based on what you'd like to get done. And then you can review other rules and decide, do I really need to do something else before that? And then feel free to move those things out. What I used to advise doing, if you don't want to use the computer is great because you can type things and you just move lines around by just cut and pasting. You could take whatever you're doing and type them all out or write them all out and then cut them. And then you could literally move them in any order you want. And you could tape them onto let's say a poster or what have you, or a piece of paper. It's important that you keep the list visible because if you don't, you're going to lose track. Rank your projects for importance, low, medium, and high. If that seems like not enough, then feel free to do some other things like low, medium high, right? High, extra high, or you can do things by numbers, with 1 being the lowest priority and 10 being the highest priority. And so when you do this, you're able to stay on track. Remember to do one thing at a time and finish it until you've completed it. And so break up the sorts of activities you do in different times will help keep you fresh throughout your tasks, because you don't want to just do all writing or all, let's say, learning in one step. You want to break them up. Okay. And you might have a situation in which you only get 10 minutes to get all the way across to what you have to do, but then you discover there is something else that's distracting you. Do you really want to give into that distraction, or do you want to do something else? Cross tasks off your list as you complete them. This is so much fun. You literally can take a pen and you can just cross them off, or take a colored pen or whatever have you, and just cross them right off your list. I think that's really the best thing to do. And so when you have a feeling of accomplishment, it's like there's so many things you may want to do, but now it seems like everything is easy in your life, right? And I get, ladies and gentlemen, that prioritizing might not be, let's say, the most interesting thing for you. But when you prioritize, you have more time, you have more energy, you can make decisions better, you feel confident, you have less stress, and you take responsibility and accountability for how you spend your time. You decide what's important to you, right? If we're talking about business, what types of business tasks are most important to you? You can use a prioritization method, as I talked about, where you can put things in order, sequential order from 1 to 10. And when you do this, things start to really take shape. Now, maybe you're not just prioritizing for business, maybe you're prioritizing for your whole life. So there might be the pyramid of family, church, exercise, friends, work. Maybe in the office, it might be things like making warm calls, following up with existing clients. Um, Another task might be, analyzing data from current clients. And these are the kinds of things that are going to get you to be excited to do more stuff. When you divide your priorities into specific time periods, it seems a lot easier to do. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, say no to distractions. See, that is very, very key. If you don't say no to distractions, you're never going to get anything done. Never. Why? Because our mind is very interesting. Okay. And what our mind allows us to do is to have thoughts, but to have thoughts about our thoughts. That's pretty wild. And I think that's what makes humans very unique, is that we can do that in a very unique way. And for whatever reason, we're able to think about something, stop thinking about something, and then think about it again, or think about something else. But people in life don't want to prioritize. You might ask yourself, why do people not want to prioritize? And I think it's because they're born procrastinators. You know, Sometimes people say to me, "Hey, John, I want to prioritize, but everything in my life is important. What do I do?" You have 500 things you want to do, but what's the most important? Should you go to that meeting? Should you answer the email? Should you make the phone calls first? Should you go to that networking event? Everything seems so critical, but how do you decide? You can create a priority matrix, and it's pretty easy to do. You can lay out all your tasks on a 4-box matrix. The x-axis represents one value, The y-axis represents another. Each quadrant then represents the priority based on the defined rules. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So, for example, something you might have in the left box might be important but not urgent. Below it, you might have not urgent or important, important and urgent, or urgent but not important. So you can come up with what works for you, and you can put things together like an effort impact matrix, a value cost matrix, and these are pretty good. The Moscow method, pronounced like Russia's capital, is a simple prioritization technique where you assign every task on your to-do list one of four categories. And those categories are pretty easy. That is, so we said the word Moscow, but it's MSCOW. And the M, the S, and the C are what we use. So Moscow. So M and the S and the C. M is a must do. You put an M there, tasks that are things you absolutely have to do. S is something you should do. You put an S there. But they're a lower priority than the must do's. C is could do. Tasks that are nice to do, you like to do them, but if you don't, it's probably not a big deal. And W, won't do. So Moscow, MSC, use that, and I think you will find your life to be a lot easier. There is an application like the Trello, and you can literally use like the Kanban app, and you can move things around and create a master list. But you don't have to use Trello. And so you can take the master list and you can move things from a must do, should do, could do, won't do. You can even do this in Outlook, ladies and gentlemen. It's really easy to do. You don't need any fancy software. And you can even do it with writing everything out and then just labeling 3 categories of the things we talked about, which are the must do's, should do's, could do's, won't do's. And just when you have those cutouts, just put them under the appropriate column. And so it seems very easy to do. Okay. You can also do things very similar to Scrum prioritization. It's also referred to as agile prioritization. And it's a method that relies on ordering. You have 20 to-dos on your list. You assign each an order numbered 1 to 20 based on both priority and the sequence. Scrum prioritization works really well when you have to take sequence into account. For example, say you have the highest priority task is to maybe retile your bathroom. However, you know that you also need to have plumbers run new pipes in your bathroom, and they have to cut into the floor to do so. So getting new pipes run may be a lower priority, but since it will impact your highest priority task of retiling the floor, it needs to be completed first. So we have to look at how tasks affect the entire puzzle. I think that is, or the entire project, I should say. Another great one that a lot of people like to use is called the bubble sort. So this is pretty easy. You start by laying every task out on a horizontal grid. And next, you take the first 2 tasks and evaluate them against each other by asking which task is more important. Whichever task is most important gets moved to the left. So you keep proceeding with this. If task 2 is more important than 1, you would move it to the left. And you just keep comparing and keep comparing and keep comparing till you're all done. And that's a great way to do things. There's something called MIT, most important task. It's a simple prioritization method that instead of trying to prioritize your entire to-do list, you start every morning by picking 1 to 3 MITs, most important tasks, and getting those done. There's also the IFYL method, and this was done by Charles M. Schwab. Once hired a productivity consultant named IFYL to help him improve efficiency at his steel corporation. Lee asked for no upfront payment for the consulting. Instead, he told Schwab to wait 3 months and pay him whatever amount of money he felt was appropriate based on the results. Well, 3 months later, Schwab wrote Lee a check for $25,000. The IFYL method is simple and similar to the MIT method. At the end of every workday, choose the 6 most important tasks on your list to work on tomorrow. Then, Order those tasks, 6 tasks, in terms of priority. When you get to work the next day, work on the task numbers 1 until it's complete. Then work on task number 2 until it's complete, number 3, etc. Continue until all the tasks are complete and repeat the process every single day. Pretty cool, right? There's also the 139 priority technique. It's like a blend of the Moscow and the IFYL technique. It basically suggests that you focus on important tasks, but it also gives you a method for prioritizing the less important tasks. Every day you plan to complete 13 tasks. 1, very important task, an M from the Moscow, or A task from the ABCDE, or 3 somewhat important tasks, the S, the should do from Moscow, or B from the ABCDE, or 9 low important tasks, C from the could do, or ABCDE. So you might be saying, hey, John, I'm not quite following you. And so, that's perfectly okay. If you're not following me, the ABCD method is pretty simple. It is similar to the Moscow. It's a Scrum prioritization, and it allows us to do sequencing. And it really is pretty simple. In Scrum, you evaluate each task on your list using 3 criteria. How important is the task? How important is it compared to the other tasks on the list? And is any other task dependent on this task? So let's go through that again. How important is the task? How important is it compared to the other tasks on the list? And is it having any dependency on this task from another task? So again, how important is the task? How important is it compared to the other tasks on the list? And is other tasks dependent on this particular task? Because I may have to do those first. So using the answers to these questions, you assign each a number, 1 minus n, where n is the total number of tasks on your list. And you can't have 2 tasks that are number 1. You make 1 number 1 and 1 number 2. Every task gets a unique number. With Scrum prioritization, it works really well, but it also pairs really well with other methods like Moscow and ABCDE. After capitalizing your tasks by priority, such as the MCW or ABC, you can begin sequencing the tasks in order that you are going to plan to complete them. So I think this is a big challenge for people. And if you're going to work from home, you got to get how to prioritize your life. This is really, really key, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I can't stress that. How do you handle office teams that waste your time? I think the first thing to realize is not to get upset. Maybe you reach out to the person, or you text them and say, hey, or message them and say, hey, can we have a brief conversation, a brief video chat? Sure. Look, I enjoy talking with you. I think you're really smart, and I learn a lot from you. And the same token, every time you talk to me, I find myself not being able to complete my work. Thus, when I say goodbye to you, or when you see I'm busy, I would appreciate it if you would not bother me, because I then don't get my work done. I hope you can appreciate that. And most people will, but you want to be as gentle and as kind as possible. And what I like to do is say to people, instead of the person, I like to come and say to them, hey, Joe, I think you're a great person. Everything's good. There's just one behavior I would like to change. And that's the fact that whenever I'm working on something, that I get called to do something when I've already said I'm busy, and then I lose track, or I don't get my tasks all completed, and I'm very unhappy. All because you wanted me to hear what you did this weekend. Although I love to hear what you have to do, I need to work on my tasks first, and then I'll be happy to talk with you after that. Okay? How do you help others? So you help others by first realizing that before you can help them, you have to help yourself. If you don't help yourself, you're never going to be able to help others. I mean, never. That is really a key. So let's make a choice in this world that whether you're virtual or whether you're in the office and you're working as a hybrid office or etc., realize that making a choice to help others, it's not only going to help you in the long run, it's going to help other people, but it's going to give you some brownie points with the boss and with the team, because people that want to help others seem to shine a very bright light without them even knowing it. And other people want to mirror or be like that person. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege, been a pleasure, been an honor to be with you this fantastic Thursday evening, May 26th, 2023. I hope you'll like, love, support the channel. Definitely comment below. Share this with all your friends, colleagues, and associates. And comment, and be sure to go to my YouTube channel, John Space C, Space M-R-L-A-Y, Space Serial Entrepreneur. Look for that key phrase, help keep our content free. Make the choice, ladies and gentlemen, to buy my team and I a cup of coffee, a bowl of fruit, or perhaps a savory, dessert plate. And we'll be very grateful with those pennies and dollars. We'll invest into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping motivational content. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys tomorrow to wrap up this amazing topic we've been talking about all week. And be sure to check out my videos that are launching tomorrow. Science Fridays with John, and of course, Super Motivational Friday. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Be well.